Hello, my name is Andrey Rubio, and I'm here joined with Trevor, Henry, Lynn, and Yasin Ibrahim. And today we are presenting our web application Budget Buddy. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started with the overview. So the objective of this application is to create a budget planning web application for individuals and groups of people. Our main target audience are families, roommates, or essentially groups of people who may want to share their budgets and expenses together. So the main feature of our web application is a user budget planning section where they can create their own individual budgets. And we have our group budget planning section where users can create groups of people and their own specific budget plans. And lastly, each budget plans has their own expense tracking feature where they can track the expenses for each budget plans that they have. Our architectural design. In our design architecture, we have a front end that consists of 4 pages. First is the main page or the user dashboard, which lists the groups and budgets they have. Then the budget planning pages for user budgets and group budgets so that they can edit their budget plans. Then an expense page for editing expenses. And lastly, a group page for viewing and editing groups they are in. Each of these front-end components communicates with our Budget Buddy backend or API via requests. Then the backend creates responses to their requests, either with a valid response or an error message to the client using the various services we implemented, like the user analysis service, group collab service, etc. And these services work as a way to retrieve and save data to our database. In our case, we are using MongoDB as our database, or they send requests to external web APIs like the Quick Charts API we are using for creating visuals for our users' budget plans and expenses. Our functional design for our web application. In our web application's functional design, the following diagram you are seeing is a simple representation of some of our web application's main functionalities. I will discuss briefly some of their features, but we'll go over them later on in the demonstration of our prototype. It starts with our user after logging in. They are greeted with the user dashboard, which contains some of our application's main functionalities, mainly the ability to manage groups that they have. They can either create or select a group in the user dashboard. Upon viewing the page, it retrieves or requests the backend to retrieve information about the group that they are viewing. Then, if they so desire, they can save any changes they made on the group page to save any new information about the group to the database. In the group page, they can also select a budget to view and manage, which is similar to the user dashboard where they can select an existing budget or create a new budget to view and manage. In the budget page, they can view specific details. It contains like the budget amount, the description of the budget, and more importantly, they can select or create an expense to view and manage on the expense page. And upon each page loading, it creates requests on the backend API to retrieve information about the user for that particular page. Then upon saving their changes on each page, it requests the backend to save their changes to the database and then provides the response to the user to display the change in the front end, or if it results in an error, it displays an error. One example of web service composition in our project is the user dashboard chart. As I previously mentioned, upon logging in, the user is greeted with the user dashboard, and the user dashboard contains a few charts that displays the information about the budget plans for each group and budget plans for the current user. So upon logging in and the user dashboard loading, it creates a request to the Budget Buddy REST API, connects to the group analysis service and the user analysis service. Then that service connects to the group aggregation service, which creates a request to the budget management service, which connects to the database and retrieves information about the group's budget plans. And upon obtaining that information, returns it to the group aggregation service and sends a request to the Quick Charts API, which returns a visualization of the budget plans that was retrieved from the database and the expenses that it contains as well. Then returns that chart to the group analysis service and then returns that finally to the backend API, which is returned to the client again one last time to display that chart on the front end. And it does the same thing for this specific individual upon obtaining the budget plans for the specific user, and returns it to the front end as a chart using QuickCharts API. With that, I will be passing on to So and Trevor to demonstrate our prototype, and then we'll finish off with Yasin.
I'm going to show the web services that we offer and demonstrate how to use these services. So let's create a new user account. So these two passwords must be the same. If you do different, it will say password didn't match. So make sure you enter the same password, sign up. After you sign up, you have to log in again. Just to make sure, log in. So here's your dashboard page. You will see budget and expense analyze. Here's the budget pie chart, and then expense per month, expense per category, so that you can track your budget. Under that, you will see a list of group and a list of budgets, and also a list of expenses. Right now they're empty, so let's create a new budget. Let's do personal merch budget. Let's say total budget is $3,000, and let's say for the merch 31st, submit, and that will go to the budget details page, and you will see who is created this budget, and then budget details pie chart, and also budget details that you can update if you want to. You can also delete that if you don't want it. And let's create a new expense, a few expenses. Let's say housing rent, and let's say it costs $1,000. Let's say we pay on March 3rd. And category, you will see a list of category that we offer. You cannot put any other than that. So rent. You have to select one of this and then submit. So we got one expense. Let's add another one. Say Magneto keyboard. Let's say 110, 10 cents. And let's say we buy today. Say it's from the entertainment. Submit. So yeah, here's the puncher is updated. Here's the amount you spent. Here's the remaining budget. And you can also view the expenses. Aside that, you can edit if you want to, but I don't want to edit, so I'm gonna go back. So this will go back to the budget details page. You can also delete that. And let's go back to the user dashboard page. So it is also updated. Budget pie chart, expense per month. And this one's for the personal budget, but let's create a group budget. Say for the family. And inside the group details page, you will see the group name that you can edit. And also you can add group members. So let's add a few of this. So let's pretend test user 123 or your family member's account. This is all the users account. And let's add this tree. So this was added. So save changes. You can also delete the group. Below that, you will see budget pie chart, expense per user, expense per month, and expense per category chart. And below that, you will see a list of budgets and a list of expenses. So they're empty. Let's create a few. Let's create budget. Let's do family vacation. Say $5,000. And say for next week vacations. Alright, submit. So this will go to the budget details page, and let's add a few expenses. The flight tickets. This will cost $1,000. And let's say we buy on March 11, and then this one's travel category. And submit. You will see that. And let's create another one. Let's say dinner at fancy restaurants. This will cost you $500.59. Let's say we eat on the Friday. And this one's dining out. Submit. And this one also updated. So if you go back to the arrow one, this will go to the group details page because it was created from the group details page, and you will see updated one. So yeah, and then let's go back to the user dashboard page. So this one also updated, and here you can switch to different budgets. So this one is personal budget, this one is group budget. So this budget can be available for the users that you added, also for the expenses, and you can directly go for that too. Go back. This one, go to the budget details page, and last but not least, you can change your email, you can change your username, and you can also set to the new password if you want, and make sure you log out.
So I'm going to be recording a demonstration of our admin dashboard. So I'm going to first just log in as an admin user. Here we go. You can switch over to admin dashboard. So we have all of our users, all of our groups, all of our budgets, all of our expenses. You can see the total amount up here for each of those. These are all searchable. So you'll see the updates as you search. You can also search expenses. And you'll see that this amount updates and the total expenses. So you see that there's almost $2,900 worth of utilities right here. Then we also have these graphs down here for budget distributions. You'll see that we have about $2.2 million worth of group budgets created within our database, and we have 500,000 of personal budgets created. And then we have another chart for expense over time. So right now it's only showing February and March, $4,200 in March and $8,100 in expenses in February. Then we can just switch to daily. This will give us a daily overview of expenses too. And you can just switch between these two on this page. And that's just our admin dashboard. So I'm going to switch over to demonstrating our API docs. We have all of our services here. So we have our user group analysis, which is going to be our one that uses a external web service, which is Quick Charts API. And it creates charts, and then it gives us the URLs to then send those forward to the front end and display those. And then we have these services, which are composition, and they use the user aggregation or the group aggregation. And then these are also composition services where they both use the expense tracking service and the budget management service to either get the group or users' budgets and expenses. I can just start showing off some of these. First, we're going to need to go to the user auth service and log in so we can then try it out. So we have admin and password 123. We just execute this. We'll get a response at 200, and then it'll give us a token, which we'll need to copy real quick. And then we can just log out, paste that in there into this authorization thing. And this will be used on all of our requests hereafter. I can just demonstrate one of the analysis services. So this is going to be for the user. So we can see here, we're getting these URLs to charts that are being created for a specific budget. This is going to be the percent of budget, and we'll also return the total budget, total expenses, and then it'll give you the percent used and percent remaining of that budget. And then it will give you a bunch of those for all of the budgets that that user's created. It'll give you expenses per month. So we'll see that he's created $7,500 worth of expenses in February and $4,000 in March. It'll give you that chart URL. We have expenses per category. So we have quite a bit in rent, quite a bit in utilities, not as much in gifts, only $20 in groceries, 5,000 in education, and 400 in entertainment. And then that same chart URL, and this is just all the users' aggregated data here too. That is what is returned. And then we can try by creating a new expense if you wanted. So if you want to create an expense, my new education expense, then I can go grab the education one, ID for the education category, and we'll just insert that right here in this category ID, execute it. We'll see that expense has been created successfully, 20, my education expense. And then we can grab this ID and quickly run down here and get a specific expense by its ID. And we just run that git. We'll see that it's at 200. You'll have that ID, my education expense, the budget ID, and then you can see the group that it was created for education. And then since I am logged in as the admin, it is going to be the admin created it. And that is just a general overview of what our Swagger and our services look like.
For challenges and future enhancements, fortunately, our group had minimal challenges, mainly just making sure everyone had the right dependencies and the right versions of Node. What really worked for us as a group was being available over Discord. We were all easily reachable and responded fast. And for future work, we're thinking maybe to get some practice with the Azure money we have and try to deploy it on the cloud just to get some practice with it using the cloud storage for the database. And that's it. Thank you.